Welcome to Grantley, my slightly modded Cities Skylines 2 series. In the last episode, we added more neighborhoods to our city, including this European waterfront-style neighborhood on the peninsula and the suburban North American-style neighborhood to the north, which is adjacent to some farmland. We also expanded our industrial area, train line, and built an international airport. I have lots of exciting new plans for this episode, including the development of a brand new city adjacent to the southwest corner of our highway ring. I will be expanding further with some other new neighborhoods and connecting all these areas with public transportation. Before we start, let's address the surprise new detailing update that was recently released. I've been away for several days on a trip for work, so I've been a little delayed in checking out the update, but I really like what I'm seeing so far. In my Discord server, I discussed my desire for the capacity of educational buildings to be reworked. This has now been implemented in the new update with brand new phenomenal looking assets for both elementary and high school that have varying capacities. There are other new service buildings and parks as well that, in my opinion, look much more appropriately scaled, and I will be implementing them promptly into my city. There are also more detailing tools added to the base game, such as the ability to place surfaces and place trees at specific age levels. There's a lot more to the update than this, so if you want to read about all that, I encourage you to check out the patch notes. And with that, let's begin. I am going to start off with the biggest project first, and that is creating a brand new city here on the southwest side of the highway ring. I want there to be several points of entry over here, so I'm just going to delete basically this entire highway section in order to create those new interchanges over here. Let's go ahead and purchase that tile and get these two intersections connected up, and then we can start on the road layout. With the main roads decided, I wanted to finally come in and put in a harbor like I've been wanting to do for the last couple episodes, and I've just kept putting it off because I didn't have a great place for it. I think down here would probably be a really good place to have this harbor, since I'm going to try to turn it into a super dense downtown area, and since it's so close to the main city, I think this will serve as a great transportation hub. I'm now trying to build the waterways so I can connect the harbor to the outside connections, and I'm running into the problem that I knew that I would eventually face, and I thought that I would cross that bridge when I got to it. And that is the fact that the bridges are too low for the boats to go under, so I'm gonna have to completely delete this entire area and raise up the bridge so that the waterways can fit under it. If I remember correctly, it does have to be 50 meters in the air, and there's not exactly a lot of space to achieve this, so it's gonna be sort of a steep incline here. It's not going to be the most realistic grade, probably around 7 to 10%, I don't remember, but that's just what's going to have to be done. With the bridge complete, it's finally time to start connecting up these waterways, and with that comes two new problems I'm going to face, and that is the fact that I'm going to be paying a ton of money to purchase all of these new tiles, and at this point I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to afford the tile upkeep costs that might put me at a deficit. And not only that, but I also have to completely delete and redo the bridge crossing the river over by the other highway. So I've just decided to leave this task for a little bit later. I'm not going to connect up the harbor just yet. Coming back to our new city, I am going to work on the road layout now. I really wanted to go into this with a plan instead of just haphazardly placing roads everywhere. So I am trying to utilize a bit of road hierarchy here. Overall, I think it looks a little bit more planned out than the downtown area of my other city. Here you can see I decided to test out one of the new parks. I think it looks very nice. I really like the new assets that came out with this new update. You're going to be seeing some more of them soon as well. Speaking of which, here I am trying to connect up this brand new elevated subway station over here. I figured now would be a great time to start putting this stuff in before we have all the buildings so that we don't have to start deleting stuff. Such a phenomenal asset. I know a lot of people have been asking for this since the beginning. I'm so glad they decided to add this in. I'm so excited to see what this will look like when it's all connected up and running. Here is the mostly complete road layout, so now it's time to begin zoning everything. Everything is going to be extremely dense here. I'm going to do a lot of high density stuff, and I also want to mix different zoning types to make it look a little bit more realistic. I am also planning to use the new urban assets that we got in the new update, such as the new urban elementary school, police station, and firehouse. As I was busy developing this new city, we unlocked the next level of our development. We are now a thriving metropolis, which means we have unlocked a ton of new development points that I'm going to try to spend wisely. I unlocked quite a few things, but the one that I was most interested in was the central bank. Not necessarily for the financial reasons, but I just like how the asset looks, and I think it'll be a wonderful addition to our downtown area over here. That's why I intentionally left a big space open over here so that I could put some of these larger buildings in there. I also felt like only one college building was not enough capacity for these two cities, so in this other open space I decided to put in another college. I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't have to attach these sub-buildings to the main building. They can be freestanding, which helped me out with this one since I placed the library to face the other side of the road. And I did some minor detailing here. The paths don't line up perfectly, but I wasn't in the mood to mess with it any longer, so I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. But it makes a nice little park behind it. I spent a little while zoning all of this out. Here is our completed neighborhood, which I have named Southport. It's a nice, thriving city. It's got a huge urban area, plenty of parks. It's got those new elevated subway lines, a lot of the new assets, and overall I'm pretty happy with how this neighborhood turned out. If you have any suggestions for changes you would like to see or new things you want implemented in the city, I would love to hear your suggestions. But now that that's done, let's move on to our next task. With this city complete, I do want to get that harbor functioning now. So it's come time to delete that highway section crossing the river over there and replace it with a higher bridge so that the waterways can go underneath it, just like we did earlier. This is once again a pretty steep bridge, but hey, it works and I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. So now it is time to bring that waterway underneath and finally connect it up and get that harbor running. Here we are, we've got our very first ships coming in to the port. I am super excited about this. I've been waiting to add this thing for several episodes now, and I'm glad I finally got it done. Moving up to the far northeast of the city, we've got this nice cliff overlooking the lake over here. I got a suggestion on the last video from Kavukamari. My apologies for any pronunciation mishaps, but they suggested that I put in a fancy sounding district, and that is exactly what I'm gonna do over here. My plan is to use the gated community setting and the district tools and create a nice little self-sustaining district over here with a lot of the low-density residential. I'm going to check and see if I have any of those signature buildings unlocked that are the really big mansions. I think those would go perfectly right over here. And this time I'm going to use the new smaller buildings such as the small elementary and high schools and the small post office. Here's one of those signature buildings going in. I think that mansion just looks absolutely perfect overlooking the water right there. And now let's start zoning some other homes nearby. I do want to add some separation between the individual homes, so I am trying to put some gaps in the zoning grid. You may notice the other great thing about this new update is that we can finally zone on roundabouts. So instead of doing my little trick with the lanes, I can now just put a regular roundabout in and zone it. It's very nice. Now for the finishing touch, I am going in adding some more trees. And with that, the neighborhood will be basically complete with its own elementary and high school, medical clinic, post office, recreation areas, and several businesses. With all the nice homes and amenities over here, I will be calling this district the Millionaire Mile. This is of course going to be a gated community. I have not used that policy in any of my previous saves, so I'm curious how this neighborhood is going to turn out with that on. And with that complete, let's get started on our final project, which is going to be connecting all of these new neighborhoods I made in the last couple videos with some bus lines. I'm planning on doing one line that kind of travels around the downtown Southport area and also connects to downtown Grantley. And by other one, we'll be connecting Southport to some of the other suburbs. The main bus hub over here in Southport is actually going to be the harbor. That has a lot of space for multiple different lines, and I feel that it's in a pretty central location to downtown, so I don't feel like I need to have a separate bus station for that. And look at that, we've got lots of bus stations all over the city now. I could probably place a little bit more, but I think I'm gonna leave that for another episode. Overall, I've made some great progress on the city with this brand new downtown Southport area and that new gated community up to the north. Honestly, what a great update that was just released. I found so many of the new buildings so useful. They are all over my city. And we're already at about 170,000 population. That is just incredible. I don't have any big ideas yet for the next episode, but if there is something you would like to see me build next time, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you want to see more updates on how the city progresses, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.